All right, so let's move on here to the shitbags of the week, which 9 times out of 10 are Democrats, and we're going to start with the ghetto trash out of Texas. That's Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett's campaign is now under federal probe over questionable donations. Far left outspoken Texas Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett could find herself in hot water with the Federal Election Committee. An investigation has been launched into her campaign finances, which were raised via the controversial Democratic fundraising platform Act Blue. Now, for anyone that remembers, I did a story about Act Blue, and that was going around for a little while, that they themselves were being investigated for mishandling of funds and lying about donations. Both Act Blue and Win Red are supposed to properly report all donations, and it's supposed to be proven that it came from an individual. Well, apparently they were getting into hot water for getting money from wherever it was coming from shady areas where you weren't hearing what the actual person was, and then they were making smaller incremental donations based on people's names. That they would just choose a family that maybe voted Democrat or maybe would have given $10 in the past, and now all of a sudden they're donating $800 or another $1,000 the next week. They were using their names in order to put this through, and when the families were approached about it and asked, did you make these donations, when they start an investigation, they go, no, we have no idea what you're talking about. So let's get into that here. After a complaint was filed by the Coolidge-Reagan Foundation, a conservative watchdog group, the Daily Signal, reported. The respondents will be notified of this complaint within 5 business days, FEC Assistant General Counsel for Complaints, Examination, and Legal Administration Wanda D. Brown said to the group. You'll be notified as soon as the Federal Election Commission takes final action on the client's complaint. Should you receive any additional information on this matter, please forward it to the Office of the General Counsel, she said. So here it is in the family that they claimed made a donation. The FEC opened an investigation. There's a process, but they're investigating. Dan Backer, a Washington lawyer representing the Coolidge-Reagan Foundation, told the outlet. The investigation relates to 53 separate donations for a total of $595. That doesn't seem like a huge deal, right? To Crockett's campaign through an Act Blue supposedly given by 73-year-old Texas resident Randy Best, the FEC complaint said. Okay? But in a video shared by one of Crockett's opponents, Sheldon Daniels, Best's wife said that she did not know about the donations, which has led to speculation that they could be fraudulent. Representative Crockett, through her principal campaign committee, respondent Jasmine for the U.S., has received thousands of other donations through Act Blue, totaling $870,000, the complaint said. It is unclear how many of these are similarly fraudulent transactions made in the name of unsuspecting innocent people who do not actually provide the funds. So they're getting these funds from God knows where. Then they find some poor, maybe Democrat voter, or just pull a name out of a hat and say, oh, Randy Best here donated almost $600. And then when you look into it, the family has no idea what you're talking about. So it's almost like, when the Democrats cheat for voting. They use a fake name, fake address. The person can say whatever they want, and then you just put your vote in. But they do it with their Act Blue donating platform. Act Blue has come under fire before with accusations of laundering foreign campaign contributions. So, again, this could have been coming from Qatar or Saudi Arabia for all we know. And then they take the funds, and then they put it under some unsuspecting American's name, and they go, oh, look, these people are funding Jasmine Crockett. And no, they're not. They're not. No one's following proper procedure. Democratic fundraising platform Act Blue may have raked in millions through fraudulent donations, according to the testimonies of elderly Americans who said federal election records do not reflect their giving, the Signal reported on January. This has been an ongoing thing. 18 registered Democrats in Connecticut, all over the age of 70, appear to have donated $1.9 million to Democratic causes, including Act Blue, through hundreds of thousands of small donations from 2016 to 2024, according to a review of the Federal Election Commission filings by Dominic Rapini, cybersecurity company CEO and a former Connecticut Republican candidate for office, said, when I examine the donation patterns tied to these alleged Smurfs, the irregularities jump off the page, revealing behavior that defies both human logic and common sense, Rapini said to the Daily Signal. To safeguard trust in our election process, we must confront these anomalies head on. So, they do it as smaller donations, but they do it as many of them. So this one was $595. But you may find that this family very strangely donated half a dozen times over the course of a month, all at $595 each. So they stay below a certain threshold and to try to stay off the radar. Okay, now with the second part here for shitbags of the week, which is, of course, Democrats again. The DOJ arrests a Democratic lawmaker in Massachusetts. Massachusetts State Representative Christopher Flanagan, a Democrat for the 1st Barnstable District, was indicted by the Department of Justice on Friday by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts in an alleged fraud and cover-up scheme. Flanagan's lawyer, Greg Henning, confirmed to Newsweek via email that he will appear alongside Flanagan in court on Friday. Flanagan, 37-year-old Dennis, Massachusetts resident, was arrested Friday morning after a federal grand jury indicted him on 5 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of falsification of records. The indictment states that Flanagan served as the executive officer of a home builders association in Cape Cod from 2019 to 2024, a trade organization which he is accused of defrauding by secretly withdrawing tens of thousands of dollars from and then entering false information in HBA's financial bookkeeping records and providing false and misleading HBA financial information to the HBA board. Here's the shitbag right here. Or is it? Department of Justice. Yeah, it says Chris Flanagan's house portrait for the House of Representatives. A chart of his reportedly stolen funds in the indictment shows that he stole $36,000 via wire transfer from November 21 to January 23. The indictment states that majority of these funds were used to pay personal mortgage, credit card debt, and $10,000 to fund his campaign account for office. He's also accused of using funds to pay for personal psychic services, interesting, which were not conducted through the transfer but via direct debit transactions from the HBA. Can you tell me if I'll be caught for being a shitbag? The answer is yes. I could have saved you $10,000. Some of the personal purchases included an air conditioner, T-shirts supporting his political campaign, and clothing. Beyond the 5 wire fraud counts, a grand jury also indicted him on 1 count of falsifying documents related to a campaign flyer. The mailer from Conservatives for Dennis endorsed Flanagan, urging voters to vote the person, not the party. Flanagan reportedly obstructed Massachusetts Office of Campaign and Political Finance OCPF investigation by attributing the source of the mailer to a false persona, Jean-Louis, where he created the endorsement among other actions. In October 23, he admitted to OCPF that Jean-Louis was fake, and he was the source of the mailer. Flanagan was first elected to represent the towns of Dennis, Yarmouth, and Brewster in 2022. And here's a U.S. Attorney of Massachusetts putting this in. Conservatives for Dennis. Did I have that wrong? He's a Republican? He can still be a shitbag, even if I got it wrong. I thought he was a Democrat. State Representative Christopher, a Democrat for the 1st Barnstable District. Yeah, I don't know why there's a flyer for conservatives. What kind of fucking morons conservatives were voting for this Democrat piece of shit? But there you go. Today's charges against Massachusetts State Representative Christopher Flanagan reveal an appalling breach of public trust, according to the indictment. Mr. Flanagan defrauded the very organization he was supposed to serve, allegedly funneling tens of thousands of dollars into his own pockets to pay off personal bills, buy luxury items, and bankroll his political campaign. But the thing that really gets me is the psychic. You should get your money back on that one, dude. All right, so that's the shitbags of the week. This guy and Jasmine Crockett, all under investigation for illegalities, and of course they're all Democrats. All right, we'll have that's the updates for today, and I'll have more for everybody tomorrow as it comes out. Thanks everyone for all the new followers. Like, share, support the show, subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.